it's your girl. That should sound weird. Anyways, I am making this is not really my first YouTube video because I have other videos on my YouTube, but this is my first video of my new start with YouTube. Like, I'm trying to be consistent, and my page is gonna have everything. Like, it's not gonna be just fashion or just sickle cell or just travel. Like, I'm gonna give y'all everything, okay? But yeah, so today I am talking about avascular necrosis. If you have sickle cell, you may or you may not be familiar with this. My girlfriend connected me with her girlfriend who has sickle cell and needs a hip replacement, and she has said to me, like, I wish doctors told you about AVN. Basically, avascular necrosis is AVN. I'm sorry if it sounds weird because I'm doing laundry in the background. But anyways, she said to me, I wish doctors told you about AVN. And like, I was like, damn, that should be my first YouTube video because they really don't. Like, I remember growing up in the hospital, right? Things that I remember vividly, like the doctors always stress us staying hydrated, like drink your water, things like that. And they always stressed what to look for stroke wise. So like, they always stress, you know, signs of a stroke, but they never stressed AVN, and it's actually very common with sickle cell disease patients. Avascular necrosis is basically, and an easy way to describe it for people that don't know, a lack of blood supply to your bone. So like, that lack of blood supply basically caused your bone to wear down. So me, I've had both of my hips replaced, and this is your hip socket, this is your ball, and this is a normal socket. You see how, like, you move your leg, you kick, you run. This is how the movement is, right? Now, I developed AVN, and that socket began to flatten because the bone was wearing down. There wasn't enough bone supply. And the top of my ball was also wearing down. So now look, if this is like this, you're not rotating how you are when you have a solid cup, right? So my hips were moving all types of crazy. Like, they would lock up. Like, I would wake up screaming because like would be stuck. Like, my hips would be like done, and it would take a second before like I could get out of that position because my hip locked up so bad, and it was like excruciating. I was 16. Y'all don't know how many times I went to the doctor because they were trying to figure out like what's going on with this girl. And after a bunch of scans, them trying different therapies, they're like, oh, you need your hips replaced, and they're like, you could do one and come back later and do the other one. I wasn't coming back. I was like, knock them both out. So I had both of my hips replaced at 16. I had to learn how to walk all over again, which was weird because in your mind, like, you know how to walk, like, you know, take 2 feet and keep it pushing. But physically, I did not know how to walk. And it was hard because, like, you're grown, like, you're 16. Like, who wants to learn how to walk again at 16? Like, that's weird. After surgery, my foot swelled up so big. And I mean, judging by this video, y'all can see I'm skinny. So my foot was like, bow, like the nutty, was it the Nutty Professor? I think it was the Nutty Professor where he blew up, right? Anyways, my feet blew up. And they ended up taking me back in because they realized I had a pinched nerve. So they drained the fluid. I was back in recovery, and that pinched nerve caused a lot of issues too in my recovery. Like, I think things weren't normal for me until 3 years after my surgery because of that. But the process itself, I remember like that year, that process was a lot because it was a lot of physical therapy, learning how to walk all over again. I spent months in the hospital. Like, first I was in UCSF in San Francisco where I had my surgery, and then they moved me to Children's Hospital of Oakland, which now has a different name, where I did like my rehab and PT and stuff, and I was there for months. Like, yeah, so like that's my story with my hips replaced, the pinched nerve, I would feel like random pins and needles stabbing the bottom of my feet. Some days it would feel like I was walking on coal. It'd be so uncomfortable. Even to this day, when people try to tickle my feet, like I'd be ready to fight. Like, and it's not because it's ticklish, but it feels very awkward. I can't really describe it. But yeah, I just want to say to my fellow sickle cell warriors, like that's something to pay attention to. So like if you can exercise and do things that strengthen your joints and, you know, stay bone healthy, I think that's good. It should be stressed more in the sickle cell realm. You know, because that's something that's hard to deal with. Like right now I have AVN in my shoulders, and I believe, and it's like bad in my right shoulder. Like it put me in the hospital for a week 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think 2 weeks ago. And it was like hard. Like I could not do this with my shoulder. And this is my dominant hand. Like I do everything with my right hand. Like of course you have your left hand, but like my right hand I write. Like this is just my dominant hand. So it was very awkward to not be able to do this or to do that. And it was just, yeah, it was sad. So I really want to stress the importance of doing stretches, exercises, whatever you can do to strengthen your bone health and your joints and keep yourself healthy, because AVN is not talked about a lot. If there's anyone out there that needs a hip replacement, because I know there are a few people that I know that are, you know, like figuring out what to do with that, I suggest that. I know like steroid shots are an option, but you want to think about things long term. Like, are you going to do that forever? Like, what's a longer solution? Like when I got my hips replaced, they're like, okay, every 10 to 15 years, they'll need to they'll need to be replaced, but you're younger, so they might last longer. And it's been, how old am I? It's been over 10 years, 12 years, 12 years, I think. Yeah, it's been 12 years since I got them done. And some things I notice is like when it's cold, they do ache a little bit. Now they didn't as much over the past years, but now that I'm getting towards the end of the span of having to get them redone, they do ache a little bit more sometimes, but it's nothing like the pain that I experienced before. Like I'm definitely an advocate for the long-term solution of, if you have to and they're really that bad, get them replaced and don't suffer in misery, because the recovery is hard, but the freedom of not having that specific pain, like y'all know we have enough pain already, so whatever you can do to eliminate, you know, that bone pain, do it. It's not like when we have pain like in our back, you could throw on a heating pad and the heating pad will help. Like your bone is harder to lower that pain score once it's up. So yep, that's the end of my first new YouTube. Whatever. Bye, y'all.